It gives me immense pleasure to welcome all of you for Gnosis Services Limited's mega event, Design Dialogues 2015. Now, to begin the proceedings, may I please request Ms. Sheital Shetty, editor and publisher of Gnosis Services Private Limited, to come up on stage and say a few words. Please welcome Sheital Shetty.
Thank you, Sachin. Coming back to our event called Design Dialogues, this is the second edition of Design Dialogues that we are having. After doing the first session of Design Dialogues, where we had only one panel discussion last year, we spoke to the industry, that is architects, interior designers, and this year even developers, to know their take on the subject of bathrooms and kitchens. And like how I always say, the best part about media and publishing is that you're always learning. The learning never stops. And after taking in inputs from various people that we've been meeting, this year we decided to have more of panel discussions. And what we are going to do is that the output which we get from the panel discussions, we're definitely going to use our publications to speak about it even more.
Thank you. May I now invite Mr. Pratap Jadhav, President Triple ID, on stage for the address.
Kitchen design has always been very close to heart since we started working, because I believe if you really want to do a catch up with your client and do a better design for him and satisfy him, is the first one to satisfy in the house and the family is the lady of the house. And we've used to focus, and we have been focusing our efforts more towards the kitchen design and become real specialists in those categories. Thank you for inviting me here, and yes, with a hope of getting some social responsibility through this will be a big takeaway for all of us. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Simon Shepherdson, Managing Director, International Leisure Consultants, that's ILC Hong Kong.
We are going to talk about the washroom as spa and the future of luxury washroom design. The reality is, in terms of looking at the future, we have to also go back to the past. Where did spa start? Salus per aquam, health by water, is the definition of spa. So it all started in Roman times with the washroom as a very important part of people's lifestyles, with caldariums, thermariums, frigidariums were all the elements that the spa started from. And those were the important aspects of bathing which were done both on an individual basis, but also then on a communal basis as well. So what we're going to talk about as far as the future of luxury washroom design is the whole aspect of health and wellness that is coming to the washroom. It's not just about looking after yourself, it's now how the future is as far as wellness is concerned. I've been to a couple of the global spa summits, which are now in their 8th year. They just had one in Mexico last month. It's now called the Global Spa and Wellness Summit, because the industry is moving towards wellness. It's moving towards how your lifestyle can be impacted about how you look after yourself in all aspects. And that includes in the washroom. Personalization becomes more important, where you as an individual can have that intimacy in the washroom, and it's through your own enjoyment and experience in that washroom that you can really get the benefit moving forward. So thank you all for your time and listening.
We shall now begin the first panel discussion of Design Dialogue 2015 that focuses on washroom as spa, future of luxury washroom design. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Milind N. Nulkar, MD, Center for Design Excellence, as he'll be moderating the session.
Good afternoon, everybody. So today's discussion on this washrooms as spas, basically when we are looking at the future of washrooms, especially the luxury washrooms, what exactly the washrooms are going to transcend into.
Nowadays people are exposed to the world.
Right.
So they have lots of experience otherwise. When they're visiting to any hotels and when they're traveling, everybody is having this kind of feeling that we should have something dream kind of environment.
You know, I come from the real estate background and not from the designer fraternity. Let's face some typical problems which are there. First of all, I think so real estate, if we talk about Bombay or if we talk about any kind of a metro city, is extremely, extremely expensive. Getting space, we try to manage bathrooms as small a space as possible.
I think at the end of the day, we need to look at the context. The challenge today, I feel, in designing spas for a lot of homes, luxury homes, we're talking about, and when I talk about luxury homes, there are homes where people have done a 22,000 square feet spa for themselves. Today, majority, 99%, I feel, of the end audience don't know what they want.
There are so many options available nowadays in the market, and the ideas, it's more about the ideas than only about the money. And that we can incorporate in everywhere. Yeah.
Sure. Bottom line is we need to understand, we need to educate, we need to deliver. And that is what is going to be the key.
Next panel discussion today will be on bath and kitchen design. Can training fill gaps in creative outputs? Please welcome Khozema Chitalwala. Over to Mr. Chitalwala.
Have we realized, is there any distinct design principle change from what was there in Indus civilization and what we are practicing today?
What's changed is that at a time when Indus civilization, you knew where it's going and there was an ecological recovery of the waste, which is not what's happening now.
I think we've regressed, and phenomenally so. I mean, Indus Valley civilization was known for the fact that you had a very clearly laid out pattern in which the dwellings were laid out, and you know, the grid iron actually followed the need of the services to flow in a certain way, and I think that was highly sophisticated. That was intuitive. That was logical way of dealing with the life that we need to live in cities.
Recycling of waste was the way of life. You never threw away anything at that point in time, or even till say 50 years ago.
Both the toilet and the kitchen in the old days were seen as services. And in very old days, the toilets were outside, and then they came in. And they came in, and they've now become probably the kind of sinks of a large amount of money.
It had toilets indoors. It had kitchens inside the houses. It had a great bath that actually the whole city went and probably celebrated in. You know, and I don't think 21st century Indian people can actually reside in that city.
I think as a culture, we've just completely lost the fact that we need to be sensitive to the people around us, our surroundings. And when you talk about Indus Valley civilization, I think that as a culture was sensitive to humanity.
We actually need to, as a designer and architects, we need to get a little more responsible and try and take the learning what they were doing till here and try and be more sensitive to every aspect of design.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for our third panel discussion and request Mr. Anand Tatu, CEO, MS Anand Tatu Architects, Planners, Interior Designers, to join us on stage. Will be moderating the session.
I think this subject which has been given to us is what goes behind a well-designed washroom and kitchen spaces.
It is now a challenge for the consultant or a builder to find the right combination of what pipe they should use, depending on their budget and the utility.
As a designer, I think customization is something which is most important for me. The second most important thing would be a comprehension and understanding of the services that go into both a kitchen as well as a bathroom.
I think we should look at lighting as a source that affects the human body at a physiological level and not at a physical level. And therefore, I think lighting design response to this situations, whether it's task or aesthetics, would be entirely taking into account the physiological changes that light brings about on the human body.
As Indians, we have evolved in the usage of a bathroom, and that's getting a lot more readily acceptable in society, whether it's large or it's small, in different versions and different ways. it's penetrated a lot more. Whereas a modern kitchen, I think, is more for magazine covers as opposed to actually the use of the kitchen.
I think it's about time we wind up in that case. Thank you very much.